Hey, YouTube viewers, welcome back. Riverside fire update overnight. It's like 11:20 in the morning right now. Um, you can see these highly pixelated, call them big squared looking blops out here instead of the little points. This is the live satellite. This means that we've got a pretty good hotspot inside of this line here. And you can tell where it is. It's all down here clustered under these actual satellite temperature readings that happened early this morning and yesterday. So you can tell that's a pretty hot spot when it comes to activity there with the fire. I'm just going to pull this off so we can maybe get a good idea as to what this terrain looks like, what these fuels look like. You can see that they're really trying to hold it from breaching this ridge. Okay, it's tougher to see inside of the fire lines when they draw it, but you can see we've got a high ridge right here, and it looks to be that it's climbing. Okay, and if we pull this off, what you can probably guess is that not all of this is totally burnt in here. Okay, so when the firefighters are trying to figure out, all right, how are we going to either burn this back into itself, or take care of this situation? Well, there's some pretty good hot readings that came out of here within the last 24 hours with some pretty good power. Here's, a couple in particular, but this is not going to go out, right away on its own. And the firefighters are really trying to keep it down, what looks to be off of this ridge line. That when you look out on it, and this is from 2 weeks ago, the satellite views, I'm gonna pull the contours off. You can see pretty heavily forested. There's not a whole lot of clear cut like you find in some of the areas that we've talked about that are on the leading edge where the tree farms are, right? So, again, as this kind of pushes itself into old growth BLM, which is what this is, or even further onto unburned Forest Service land. Because, hey, let's be honest here. Like, we're looking at this, this looks horrible, but not all of this is completely charred inside of these lines. Like, they're going to go back, they're going to redraw lines. If you look, the lines are getting redrawn and more accurately every time we get an update from fire personnel, at least once, maybe twice a day if it's something that's pretty active. But you can tell when they do that they're becoming more sure as to what specific trees are even burnt, or grassland or undergrowth is burnt. Now, I still have this concern about this corner of the fire reaching this corner. But you can see we've got a handful of little hot spots on BLM land as it's pushing through here. They're trying to contain it from catching these large stands on fire. So you can see again, a little over the line last night. You can see if we throw the contours on here, they're trying to keep it up off of this ridge. Pull the contours off, pull the satellite off. You can see what roads they're using. They're using Middle Fork Road, right? They're using this creek drainage. They're going to try, to keep this apart. Now, I think that they're not gonna have to worry about, the table area here. It's going to be hard for those hot spots to, uh, climb up in there. Now, could it? Absolutely, right? But they've got a nice, solid elevation loss, and then what I would call just as much, or if not more, of an elevation gain. If it's going to connect this area right here, the middle fork is going to end up being a nice barrier if they can't keep it off this old growth BLM right here. Uh, I'm going to pull it back onto the satellite view here because we've got another couple of hot spots that just kind of aren't going out. The nice thing is that their lines are not, or their dots aren't too far outside of the lines. And a lot of times, like we're finding when, these really hot corners are starting to be put out, we're starting to see less power and then also lower temperatures. So if you see things like 100 degrees with 1 megawatt of power, that very easily could just be the heat coming off of stuff that has been burning for the last couple of days on this line. Does not surprise me because this line has been pretty hot. A lot of this line up here on the eastern slope or on the eastern side has been pretty hot, and we're going to have winds that are going to fan it even more up the Cascades And that is, quite honestly, probably our biggest concern because it very well could be that Lion's Head, advances quite considerably north and east. You don't want to have the Riverside fire push up the 3,000 feet of elevation to get to the Cascade Crests. And there's numerous places that they'll be able to stop it along the way. But, keeping it down stream on the Clackamas is clearly important. Keeping it downstream from the Timothy Lake, drainage here. And, hopefully both of those things can make it so that this doesn't really advance too far much to the east. Otherwise, population centers still looking really good. We've still got a few hot spots down here that are pushing. I'm going to guess that these hot spots are going to make it so that we've got at least a couple of days until folks down here south of 211, Molalla, Colton area are allowed back in. They're probably going to let some people go back. I would hope today. I mean, I would just hope that, they would be able to say, all right, there's enough danger that's passed that Estacada can go home, right? Because that's what I'm seeing. I'm not seeing any real danger there. And if anything, it's causing people a lot of concern and anxiety. So that would be what I would say would be a prudent thing to do, but who knows? I mean, the Office of Emergency Management, Oregon Fire Marshal, they're all just running around like they don't like their heads cut off. They just lost their boss, who I imagine a lot of them really loved. He's a sounds like a great leader, but all of a sudden now they're like, wait, this person we've never met is all of a sudden says we got a new boss. Which supposedly good stuff. She sounds like comes with a lot of high endorsements, high qualifications, been there, done that. People listen to her. She's been the mouthpiece for the fire for a while. um, but I just hope that she's got the wherewithal and the ability to keep this thing down and to keep this thing from burning all the way through Lamiti Butte, and into some really you know, high powered fuel area if it gets past this other fire scar here. So Riverside fire update. Everything close to population centers is looking good. Who knows when you'll be back? I would say that you got my 2 cents and 3 cents as to you know who may get let back first and who may take a little bit until they're good and ready and these hot spots are taken out. But hope everybody's holding up well and hopefully this helps people get a little bit more comfortable with the situation.